Has someone ever told you that you are too sensitive? That you are overreacting? That you need to toughen up? What if they were wrong? What if you are not too sensitive at all? What if you are simply overwhelmed? Today, we are going to talk about that. Let me describe something to you. Someone says something slightly dismissive to you. Nothing huge, just a throwaway comment. And you feel it, not just in your head, in your chest, in your stomach, in your throat. And then the voice starts. Why am I like this? Why do I always take things so personally? Why can I not just let things go? Sound familiar? Here is what is actually happening. You are not overreacting. You are reacting to everything all at once because you never stop. You are always on, always alert, always reading the room, always managing how everyone around you is feeling. That is not sensitivity. That is exhaustion, wearing a different name. And I need to say something else. Something that nobody says out loud. Being told you are too sensitive is one of the most damaging things a woman can hear, because it teaches you to distrust yourself. It teaches you that your instincts are wrong, that your feelings are too much, that the problem is you. But your feelings were never the problem. The problem was that nobody around you could hold them. That is a very different thing. So why does this happen? Why do women in particular carry this label of too sensitive? The first reason is emotional conditioning. From a very young age, girls are taught to be aware of how other people feel, to pick up on moods, to soften conflict, to keep the peace. This gets praised. She is so empathetic. She is so mature. She is so thoughtful. What they do not tell you is that constantly reading other people's emotions while suppressing your own is one of the most exhausting things a human being can do. And you have been doing it since you were a little girl. The second reason is something called hypervigilance. Now that sounds clinical, but it is actually very simple. When you grow up in an environment where you had to manage other people's emotions, or where love felt conditional, or where conflict felt unsafe, your nervous system learns to stay alert. All the time. Every room you walk into, every message you receive, every tone of voice, every facial expression. You are scanning for threat, even when there is none. That is not sensitivity. That is a nervous system that never learned it was safe to switch off. The third reason, and this one matters. Society tells women that emotional expression is weakness. Cry in a meeting and you are unstable. Express frustration and you are aggressive. Set a boundary and you are difficult. So women learn to hold everything in, and hold it in, and hold it in, until one day something small happens. And it is not small at all, because it is carrying the weight of everything you never said. And someone looks at you and says, "Why are you so sensitive?" Because I have been holding this for a very long time. So what do you actually do with this? I have 3 things that genuinely help. The first one is to stop apologizing for having feelings. I know that sounds simple, But count how many times today you said sorry for something that was not your fault. Sorry for crying. Sorry for being upset. Sorry for needing something. Your feelings are not an inconvenience. They are information. They are your mind and your body trying to tell you something important. You do not apologize for information. The second thing is to identify whose emotions you are carrying. This one is powerful. Next time you feel overwhelmed, stop and ask yourself, is this feeling mine? Or am I carrying someone else's anxiety right now? Someone else's disappointment? Someone else's frustration? Because empathetic people, and you are one of them, absorb the emotions of the people around them like a sponge, and you cannot pour from an empty sponge. The third thing, give yourself the same compassion you give everyone else. Think about how you speak to your best friend when she is struggling. You do not tell her she is too sensitive. You do not tell her to toughen up. You hold space for her. You tell her her feelings make sense. You tell her she is not too much. Now, be that friend to yourself. You deserve the same kindness you give so freely to everyone else. You are not too sensitive. You are human, and you have been carrying an enormous amount for an enormous amount of time. The people who told you that you were too much were people who could not handle that much. That is about their capacity, not your worth. My name is Zara, and this channel is here for the conversations women need but rarely get to have. If this felt like something you needed to hear today, subscribe, because there is so much more where this came from. And if you know a woman who needs to hear this, share it with her.